everybody, welcome back to Mama Bear's Instapot cooking. And today, with it getting kind of cooler outside, I thought it'd be a good day to whip up some 15 bean soup. So let's get started here and I'll show you how I do it. First off, I went ahead, I do apologize for my voice. I've got a bad sinus infection, so I do apologize. I hope you can understand me. I've got two tablespoons of canola oil in here. And first off, we're going to go ahead and saute up the vegetables we're going to be using. I am adjusting my pot to where I put it on, let's see, on and on medium here. Okay. Come on. There we go. So we're going to go ahead. And what I'm using today, and as always, I will put the recipe in the description box. Normally, I will also put carrots in with this, but I didn't have any, so I come from that school of thought. We use what we got and we improvise where we want. Like I've told you before, no recipe is set in stone. Recipes are guidelines to go by. So if at any point I use something and you think, well, this would be better, go ahead, omit it, add something else in its place. Experiment with things and do them the way your family likes with what they like. You can't never go wrong there. So first off, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start to saute, and I don't think that's going to be hot enough yet. Let's check it. I can hear it sizzle just a little bit. I want it. No, just a little bit more. Okay, I'll go over the ingredients with you while we're waiting on that. I did the 15 beans, the first 15 beans. I've already went ahead and I've washed these off a few times. I have not soaked them. When you use an Instapot, there's two schools of thought. Some people say, oh no, you have to soak them. In an Instapot or any electric pressure cooker, where you're working with that kind of buildup of steam, it's not like cooking them in a crock pot or something, to where the soaking begins the process and begins to open the beans up to keep them from getting tough. The pressure that's in there will treat it differently. It will soften it up differently. And so you don't have to do that with those. I'm going to be using Cajun flavor. Here we go. I can do this while I talk. Let's go ahead. I've got about a half a cup of celery and about a half a cup of onion. That in there. I've got about a real healthy tablespoon of garlic. I do apologize, don't mean to sniff on the camera. Good enough. Okay. Stirring around a little bit in the oil. That's why I put it on medium today. I'm kind of sensitive when I do my vegetables. I do not like them to cook down real fast and burn. And all I want to do with these is just soften them up just enough to where when the soup is done, they're of course done, but they're not all mushy and everything. So I don't like them chunky and crunchy either. So hopefully we'll get these just right. So let's go ahead and start adding our spices. Since I do have the Cajun flavor packet, we'll add that packet that comes with the Cajun, with the Hearst. You always get a flavor packet. Sometimes we get ham. A lot of times we'll do the Cajun. The Cajun This is the Tony Chachere's, you know I'm fond of. We're just going to go ahead, and you should be able, hopefully, to see down in there. I've put just a nice coating on the top of it. I'm going to add just a tiny bit of Italian seasoning. Not much. Drop in a couple bay leaves. We will put those in on the very top after last. That way they don't get all broken down and crumbly in there. We don't want to eat them. We just want them for flavor. Now today I'm going to be using Polish kiełbaska. I like that. I didn't have a ham hock or a ham bone. Normally that is what I would use, but once again we use what we've got, and I happen to have that in the freezer, and I like it. Plus too, it's just a good flavor to have with this kind of soup. So this is looking kind of ready. I know you can see down in there enough to kind of tell it's starting to kind of get that glaze color that it takes on when it starts to cook just a bit there. Give it just a few more minutes. And we'll add our broth and our beans, and our meat will go on top. I'll throw a little liquid smoke in. I'm going to break my own rule. Normally I don't like to do salt and pepper while I'm cooking, but beans is the one exception. I don't know if you can see how much, but just enough. Just a little touch. You can see it sitting on the top. Plus too, I don't want the pepper to make me start sneezing. It's bad enough. Okay. Go ahead and add us up some liquid smoke. Normally I would put it in after my broth, but I want you to see about how much I use. And I would say if I had to measure that, probably would be about maybe a teaspoon. Just a little over, wasn't a lot. You can see from the color now of my oil. And one thing about, this smells so good, I love that. One thing about using oil and sauteing your vegetables first, when you do make beans, for some strange reason, the oil that's in it will keep the beans from foaming quite so bad. And so I like that. That's like an added little bonus there. Now I would say I measured out 3 cups of beans. This is 4 cups of chicken broth. And if you'll excuse me here, I'm going to step over here and get a couple more cups of water. Always measure carefully. And this is 4 cups. That's how I know that's close enough. So we'll add just a bit in there. That's what we got here. And then after I take a look at it, I'll know if I want to add more. I usually will do a 2-to-1 ratio when I make beans, because I do not like my beans in a heap bunch of liquid. I can't stand that. I like them thicker, and I like a lot less liquid in my soup. And one thing, if you do want to thicken up your soup, all you have to do is pull some out, and either in a food processor or a blender or whatever you have, go ahead and stir it up, mix it up, then add it back into your soup. Good way to thicken it. So now we've added our 3 cups of beans. This is the kielbasa. I did slice it in like just diagonal slices. I do like it to stay kind of in a larger size because kielbasa will kind of shrink up when it does cook. It's hard to smell because I'm so stopped up, so it's usually my indicator there. I'm going to throw just a little bit more liquid smoke in there. Just a little darker, I believe. Okay, and you can make this in a crock pot. You would want to use less liquid, use like what you normally would when you fix your beans. It's just a good recipe. I usually do like, I would say a cup of beans, a cup of water, a cup and a half of water, depending on how you like your beans and how long you cook them. But if I was to do that in a crock pot, I would make it on low for 8 hours. So it's a good way to convert it there. Just get those under the water and we'll get this thing cooking. There we go. One of my favorite sounds on earth, means I did it right. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to manually set my timer. I'm going to want to cook these for this amount. Let's go for 60 minutes. Mine is one of the ones that does not have the automatic thing, the automatic setting for beans. It didn't come in the Lux model. Alrighty, we got that set, so we're going to let these cook, and when they're done, we will be doing a slow release, and this is on seal. We will be doing a slow release on our beans, so when it's done, I'll bring you back and we'll take a look at the finished product. Hi everybody, we're all done and ready to go and see the final result of what we've got. This did, after it came up to pressure, cook for 55 minutes. One thing I didn't think to do was when I was putting the juice in, my stock in the water, had I microwaved that and made it warmer, it wouldn't have taken so long for it to have come up to pressure. Because it was a little bit on the cold side and that much liquid in with the beans and the meat and the vegetables, it took about 25 minutes for the pressure to build up before it started its countdown to cooking. So I just wanted to be sure to let you know, just a helpful little hint. I should have thought of it. I apologize that I didn't, but at least we remembered it in time to share it now, so that hopefully when you make this, that's a little shortcut that you can take, so you could factor in your coming up to pressure time, probably to be with this much volume, probably in the 10 to 15 minute range. If you did go ahead and microwave your liquids, it would help save that amount of time. So it was in the pot 55 minutes. I did let it slow release for 10, and I just now took this off, and so a little bit more steam came out. This is what we've got here. Want to remember to take, I apologize for my voice, want to remember to remove our bay leaves out. Where'd the other one go? There it is. Okay. Now at this point, I am going to take just a little taste before I add anything from that seasoning packet, and we'll check our beans. Since they are 15 bean soup, some do cook naturally a little bit faster than others do. But yeah, they're done. They're not hard and they're not real soggy, so we should be good. Let me take just a taste and I'll see how much of that packet, if any, I want to put in. Okay, I'm gonna leave the packet alone. I think the way we seasoned it is fine. If you like things really spicy, then go ahead. It's always best to add your packet though in slower increments, because this stuff also can be kind of salty, and once you have it in there, there's no pulling it out. So if you do decide to use it, go ahead and add just a little bit in, stir it around, and then take your taste and add it gradually like that, a little at a time. So let's stir this up and see what it... Looks good. Hope it tastes as good as it looks. Okay, let's take a little bit here and see our final result. And I did share with you that you can thicken this up if you like, just by taking about that much. Just don't put the meat in it when you do it. Just pull out about that much, some broth, and about that much vegetables, and that way you can go ahead and run them through a food processor, a blender, a mixer, whatever you have to use, and go ahead and mix that way, and then add it back into your pot and stir it. Let me get this up here so that you can have a see of what we've got. That's the final. This is way so hot, but that's what the Polska kiełbaska that I use look like. Let's see, I want a tiny taste of the beans because they're very hot. The beans are very good. You could even, instead of cooking them for 55, you could have cooked probably for 45 to 50 if you like them a little more el dente. They're done the way I like them. I like them to have consistency, but I don't want them to be real mushy. So as far as that goes, I think we did really good with this, and I really thank you for watching it. Hope that when you try it, it comes out. Make some cornbread to go along with it, or your favorite kind of bread. Garlic bread's good. Whatever you like. And down in the comments section, go ahead and leave me a note later on. You can always come back to it and let me know how you liked it. I'd appreciate hearing from you. And on your way out, if you would, please hit the subscribe button. One thing I did want to notice, I had noticed that a few people that were subscribed to me accidentally hit the button in the very corner as you look at the screen, especially if you enlarge it. If you hit that, it will resubscribe you. And what that does, if you hit it more than once, it unsubscribes you. So that's kind of a problem. So just double check and make sure that if you have subscribed to the channel already, that you are still subscribed and the bell's still on, so that you know when I do post a video. And hopefully I'll get out to be able to get us some sights and sounds of some Christmas. I'm still in Florida for about another week or so. So hopefully we'll be able to show you a little Christmas Florida style. And then when I get up home, we'll be taking some more cooking and doing some things with Gatlinburg. So till that, I shall see you again. And thank you again so much for watching, everybody. God bless.